proposed name is Bad Haircuts.
Bad haircuts, botched braids, and bitchin' boys. So you get to guess what breakfast is. Nothing was much better than social dancing every Friday afternoon at Summit School. At a certain time, the center of the room became a dance floor. This freedom allowed by our beloved teacher, Mr. Lawnon, who taught the 4th, 5th, and 6th grades all in one room. He was tall and afflicted with polio in his childhood, so his right leg was weak. It kind of dangled. Oh, but he could still pitch a softball at recess. And all smiles on Fridays, he was thrilled to watch his young charges learn to do all the new dances back there in the early 1960s. What fun! Wiry little Wayne, looking like Michael Jackson but with blonde hair, would practice every new dance at home in all their weird and wonderful gyrations, taught to him by his big sister who was in high school. Okay, you guys, it goes like this, he'd say, like he had the goods, the real deal, the dope on what it was to be with it. And whatever creation of the moment was exploding in teenagerland, we seriously and dutifully learned from little Wayne, flipping up his heels like mad, us doing our best to be good dance students, then letting loose on the dance floor. We loved all the dances and the music, member twist, monkey, mashed potatoes, the jerk, and more. Crazy, imitating Wayne, who was clearly the best dancer I had ever seen, solo. No need for holding hands. A lot like the improv of my later modern dance years, folk dance of a different sort. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, picture this. The 4-legged ancient furry white horse, us 3 little girls, 3 stair-step sisters, perfectly fitting her broad back, just as us 3 little girls perfectly fit in the huge ancient 4-legged clawfoot tub. 3 bare backs in one veritable valley. For my first dance in 7th grade, in the school that was down the winding grade, I was allowed to shave my legs. Ear piercing was not even a glimmer in anyone's mind, so this was the biggest passage of my life so far. Slipping full length into puberty, where my furry legs were shaven with hair. The porcelain ark received a child, and she emerged a grown girl simply by removing the baby hair on her legs. Oh, nothing can feel sweeter on that first clean-shaven day than rubbing your own 2 tender flanks together. Not even pressing a mountain of fur can feel so good. Yeehaw! My outfit for that first spectacular dance down in the big city of Ojai, California, was noticeably 1950s. No slipper thin or mini shifts yet, but knife-edged woolen pleats, me swinging my skinny hips to beat the band, doing the twist, where God knows you didn't need to know much at all, and certainly didn't have to hold any old boy's hand. We all seemed to wince as that endless twisting gave us stitches like mad in our sides. Oh, but it was worth it. And thanks to Wayne, I was well prepared. Chubby shirt, chubby checker, smiling cheeks. I went home happy that night, and the best part was being able to sneak a feel in my slick legs. Whoa, every time I wiggled and squirmed to that latest zigzag, round and round fad. First part. Thank you.
We fretted over our hair, our coif signatures of queendom, but there was even more hair to spurn our insecurity. Hair lied like briar patches under our arms and covered our legs like fine wool blankets. Entering puberty brought forth more feminine dilemmas and anxiety than we were ready to face. I personally sanctioned independency and the freedom offered to boys on the block. But in turn, I was gifted with testimonial dark hairs surfacing my arms and legs, forcing me to face the edges of a Relco blade, double-edged, shiny, and sharp. Oh yeah, the sanctimonious ceremony of shaving legs, a coveted rite of passage already bestowed upon my sisters. And now it was my turn. Oh, I pleaded with my mother to allow me this rite of passage on the day of the junior high dance. I was tired of being embarrassed of tiny gorilla hairs under the sheath of nylon pressed flat as if preserving them like miniature florets, mementos in a book. I was ready to release them and to reclaim my womanhood. I approached the glazed white porcelain baptismal, nervous and anxious to transcend my legs into the next passage of independency. The water was drawn, the ceremonial blade laid waiting on edge. I gently sat on the cool porcelain tub, my butt shocked by the coolness, and dipped my toes into the warm water. Cupping my hands, I gathered the liquid and christened my right leg. Then, with dove in hand, I lathered up, took the shiny Relco, and carefully drew the blade up my leg, carving a clear path to freedom. At first, I felt the razor slice through the fine hairs, scraping my skin as it slowly worked its way up my leg. I cringed at the unfamiliar sensation of nakedness and exposure. But it was done. There was no going back. Somewhere in the middle of this experience, I transcended into a spiritual rebirth. I claimed my femininity. I was committed to a weekly ritual of haremdom. I continued with the other leg, and when both were complete, I reviewed my project. 2 gleaming, baby bald legs, slick skin, white as snow, and ready to walk into the world. And quickly I rinsed, dried, and pond moisturized these gams. It was time to emerge and reveal these babies on the dance floor. Betty Grable, my eye. Dressed in my maroon and white umpire dress, silk nylons and black tiny pumps, I presented my slick, smooth legs to the world. Entering the dance hall, I waltzed in ready and semi-confident. I am woman, hear me roar! I came to pony with the best. Surveying the room, I encountered a mob of gyrating hipsters, monkeying and twisting to pop sounds. The dim light sent an iridescent glow on pimply skin, and the revolving disco light made each person's image a shadowy mystery. Potential prospects for new partners. My heart palpitated, maintaining a rhythmic beat to the music as my palms sweated. My legs, encased in nylon, took on a faint itch, the skin newly exposed to synthetic fibers. I gently rubbed them together, easing the sensation, but creating another as the nylon took on friction. I walked across the floor and velcroed myself to the wall, maintaining a safe distance from masculine marauders. I was not ready to put myself out there on the dance floor for all to judge, to criticize, and to witness weakness. Oh no, this wallflower was not ready to blossom. My legs were not going to hold me up against this newfound experience, despite their freedom. My insecurities shrank me further down the wall. I appeared even smaller than I was. What was I thinking? I was not ready for womanhood. Outwardly, my gleamed gams struck a note of security, but my mind and mouth were not ready to transcend into this realm of flirt and flutter. I hovered and closed my eyes, focusing on the music, and allowed myself to drift to the beat inside my head. And suddenly, I felt a small pressure on my arm and heard a voice whisper in my ear, "Want to dance?" My eyes fluttered open to see David Bowers standing before me, his raven hair flipping up at the edges and brown eyes barreling into mine. I choked out, "Sure." And David took my hand and whisked me out onto the dance floor, my eyes glued to the floor, afraid to look up, but once or twice our eyes connected. We jerked, we shimmied, we twisted, and we ponied till we ran out of breath. My legs sweated under that beige nylon, revealing small, irritated bumps on the next morning. But I didn't care, because that night, David danced with me, and he danced into my heart, my first crush. It was a night to many firsts.